Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. My name is Janelle. What's up, what's happening, what's popping? I know y'all like, what's up, what's going on, where you been, what you doing, girl? We ain't seen you, we ain't heard from you, you ain't posted, you ain't said nothing. You good? I'm good, I'm good. You know, for y'all that's been rocking with me for a cool minute are freaking out by my title, and I'm gonna just say right now, it is not a false alarm, it is not a joke, I'm not playing around, I'm really for real this time. I know my last video, which was like over 90 days ago that I posted, I had a little joke in there saying that I quit, and y'all probably think that this is another joke, but I'm dead. I need some more tea. Today is July 1st, so it is the first day of the new month. Today is like officially the day that I resigned from my position as a flight attendant with a major airline. And it's crazy only because I didn't think it would be like this soon that I would be resigning from this job, but life be lifing, but God be Goddin'. So I'm so excited to like tell you guys, but I know a lot of you are going to be sad that there's no more flight attendant vlogs coming from my channel anymore, but I am confident that you guys will still find it in your hearts to be happy for me and excited and encouraging about what's coming. Oh, let me take this gum out because it's not professional. It's so good though, it still got flavor. I just couldn't put it in. I know the last video I gave you guys news that I was going to be a flight attendant instructor. I was going into instructor training, about to start that whole new journey, and yeah, so pretty much the update on that is it didn't happen. And crazy enough, like I only did one day of the instructor training, and then I had left training and went on a leave of absence, and I'm not going to go into details as to why. Let's just say that it was a lot of personal things going on in my life, and I just needed some time away to like figure out what I wanted to do. I always said that like when I became a flight attendant, it was going to be temporary, it wasn't going to be something that I saw myself doing long term. Although I knew it was going to be a short amount of time in my life that I was going to be a flight attendant, it's definitely ending a lot sooner than I anticipated. Before I even got into the role, I was like, yeah, 2 years max, I'm out of here. Had been flying for like a year and 4 or 5 months or so, so definitely a lot shorter than planned. But I can honestly say that my plan versus God's plan, and me quitting is literally God's plan and me following God's messages and signs to me to move in the direction that he has designed my life to go at this specific time in my life. So I have to be obedient and listen to God, and I'll get into more details and what I really mean by that later in the video. I started flight attendant instructor training on April 10th, and then the following day was the 11th, and that's when I had went on leave. So I was on leave from April 11th all the way up until June 13th. And I had decided probably like around late April that I probably wasn't returning back to work. And then when I finally got confirmation that I wasn't returning back to the job, I had decided that once I ended my leave, I was gonna work like 2 more trips and call it a day after. So I did. Last week I just got back from Paris. So I flew to Brussels, Belgium, and then I went to Paris, France. I was gonna vlog, but I just want to enjoy the layovers and not think about really recording a full blown out vlog. But I got some footage, so I'll insert that for you guys so you can see right now.
My new shit like that.
that was my time in Paris and Brussels, and I had a great time, especially in Paris. That's like one of my favorite places to visit. Now that I think about it, I've been there 3 times, and it was so nice to see my friend Andrew, catch up with him and hang out. And it's just so crazy to think that I really have a friend that lives in France, and we've been able to build a cool friendship over the last few years, and that's definitely a friendship that I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. And it's good to have a plug in Paris. Like, how dope is it to be in Paris and have someone like take you around on their little bike? It's dope. So I'm so grateful that I was able to experience that and have that be a part of my last hoorah in the friendly skies. So really cool, y'all. It was so affirming as well when I was working these 2 trips, because when I was on the aircraft, I'm gonna keep it a buck, I was so ready to be done. I was so ready to get off the plane. I just couldn't do it. My body was going through it. I was sore. I was tired. I just had very low patience. And I was like, oh wow, this is not usually how I am when I'm working these flights. And I said, that's God. That's God saying, girl, it's time to go ahead and gracefully exit. But I'm gonna let you have your fun in Paris and Brussels. But after this, definitely hang up your wings and be done. It's funny because it was a great feeling like that in the moment, even though I wasn't feeling like super positive. But when I thought about it, I'm like, I'm walking away knowing that I need to walk away, and I won't have any doubts or worries. And after going back to flying, after being off on leave for some time, I was thinking like, oh, am I gonna miss it? The only thing that your girl's gonna miss, honey, to keep it real with you, is my free flights. I'm not looking forward to paying for plane tickets, to be honest. And I'm gonna miss KCM. Yep, because even though I'm gonna have more money, who still wants to pay for tickets when you used to not have to? You know, I'm gonna miss that. But it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I'm really grateful for all the connections like in real life that I've made through my channel, or how many flight attendants that I've met walking through the airport or on a trip or at training, who have watched my channel before and have came up to me in person and introduced themselves. Literally just yesterday, I hung out with someone. Her name is Ray. She's a flight attendant with the company that I used to work for, and she found me through watching my channel and hitting me up on Instagram, and we became friends. I'm so grateful for our blossoming friendship, and that never would have happened if I didn't have this job. And there's so many people who just follow me on Instagram that I just talk to on Instagram through having the job I had, and I'm grateful for that. Like, connecting with people has been really dope, and that's one of the things that I really appreciative of, and that I'm gonna miss as well for sure. But it's gonna be okay. Y'all know where to find me. Find me on Instagram, okay? We can still chat it up, and I still will be hanging out with the few people that I met through the job that I still talk to this present day. So it's gonna be good. Now let's get into the nitty gritty, the meat of this video. This is the part that I know you guys really want to know. Why is Janelle leaving the flight attendant lifestyle? Pretty much the biggest thing, as I kind of mentioned in the beginning, is that God was really speaking to me. I feel like within the last 2 years, honestly, of my life, I've been seeking clarity, and I've been talking about seeking clarity in previous vlogs throughout my channel, and growing in my spirituality and developing a stronger relationship with God. And through that process, I have had so many revelations within the last couple months that I feel like it would be absurd for me to not follow God's direction as far as what to do next. With me not being on YouTube as well, I feel like I've just been spending time focusing on me, focusing on nourishing the relationship with Christ and those aspects of my life, to where I'm just filled with nothing but joy and optimism and excitement for what is next to come. I knew being a flight attendant had an expiration date. It had an expiration date for sure, and the expiration date came a lot sooner than I thought, but I feel like I gained so much from this journey, and it served its purpose. Like I said, that I wanted to become a flight attendant to get more clarity about myself and learn more through developing experiences around the world with other people, and just realizing what my ultimate purpose was. And so this job just added more fuel to my fire and desire to go after the life that I want to have. have and that I know I will have. But for those who know me, and maybe for some of my subscribers who have followed me since the early beginning stages of my channel, it might have been in my get to know me vlog, I was saying how I've always been someone who loves helping people. I love building relationships. I love connecting with people. And I know that my ultimate purpose here on this earth is to do that in some capacity. And I feel like as being a flight attendant, it hasn't been as fulfilling as far as the impact that I want to have in making the world a better place. Granted, it's been an amazing opportunity to have this YouTube channel and having flight attendant vlogs. I feel like I've been definitely helpful in that realm of things, supporting and encouraging aspiring flight attendants, or even those who are currently flight attendants, and encouraging them to get more out of their experience within the role, and going out there and taking trips and just exploring more about the world and themselves. That has been amazing. Like, I didn't even imagine that my channel would have the success that it has had thus far, and being able to connect with so many people in that way. And I'm so grateful for that. Definitely don't get me wrong. I'm very, very happy to have accomplished that, but I feel like I need to do more. Knowing that, it's crazy, as I was praying like day in and day out for God to show me what he wanted me to do profession wise. And for those who know, and for those who don't know, my previous career before becoming a flight attendant, I was a social worker, and I hopped around from social work job to social work job, not really having any clarity on what type of social worker I wanted to be. I was burnt out, didn't really find my niche as far as what population I wanted to work with and in what type of social work setting. So I just quit and became a flight attendant. But God spoke to me and was like, you need to go back to social work. I was like, what? That's not what God's telling me to do. So I prayed on it some more and more and more, and God kept telling me social work. And so I was like, all right, well, if this is what God is telling me to do, I need to figure out what type of social worker I want to be, what environment I want to work in, and just how that's gonna look, right? Because I love my freedom. I love having flexibility in my schedule, and I was just feeling like, how is that gonna happen if I go back into social work? But I knew that if God is telling me to do something, God knows the desires of my heart, and he is going to put things together for me to be happy within this role that he wants me to be in, and being able to be in a role that's going to fulfill the areas of my mojo, as I should say. He's gonna make it happen. So I was just like, okay, I don't know what exactly this is gonna look like, but I'm gonna be obedient. I'm gonna research, and I'm gonna be specific about different jobs or different things that I can do within this profession. I ended up studying to take an exam that was gonna allow me to get my license in the field of social work, and I studied for this exam. I passed the exam, which is so crazy. Everything was just falling together in a short amount of time so perfectly, and it was just so affirming that what God was telling me to do, I listened, and things just started coming together, you guys. It's just amazing. I got my license, and your girl is officially a licensed master social worker. And I told myself that I wanted to work in a specific setting. I applied to only jobs that were in the specific setting. I prayed about the dollar amount that I wanted to be in. So I got a job offer in the setting that I was seeking, and the job offer, salary wise, was way more than I was even expecting to receive. Y'all, when I tell you, if that is not confirmation, the affirmation from Jesus, I don't know what is. I'm going back into social work, but with new credentials, more esteemed credentials, I could say, and the doors that are going to open for me within the field of social work are just so many compared to when I just got out of grad school and had limited amount of options. It's amazing because even being a flight attendant, it really attracted the hiring managers from the role that I'm going into now, because they see how transferable social work skills are, and every experience that you have in your life, regardless of if it's exactly in that profession that you are applying to get a new job in, they can be transferable. Don't let anyone discourage you or tell you that if you take a break from something, you can't go back and that you can't utilize some of your past experiences because it may not exactly align to what a job description says. Honey, there is a way that you can word things, that you can present things to where every experience in your life is valuable, only if you see it that way. But that's me going on a whole nother tangent. So yes, so that's what I'm doing next. And I am starting my new role in about a week. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to be making content around, you know, my new social work position and just more videos tailored to mental health. And that's something that I've already mentioned to you guys on my channel before. That's something that I was interested in and wanting to do more of, and I feel like it's just all coming in alignment, and I hope you guys support that content. And I'm already knowing that some of you may not be interested in it, and it's okay. I appreciate your support thus far, but I know in my heart that God is going to open more connections for me in other areas of interest where my channel is going to grow. I'm claiming it. That's that. The other things that backed up me transitioning out of being a flight attendant was the struggles that I had while being a flight attendant that I don't think I highlighted enough on my channel. And I do want to say before I get into the struggles that I really enjoyed being a flight attendant during the time that I was a flight attendant. However, always in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, what's next? So one of the main things was the money. And this is a known thing. Like, if you're a flight attendant or people who have been researching pros and cons of flight attendants, you know that probably every video that has came up or every flight attendant that you talked to has brought up the fact that the pay is not that great. And don't get me wrong, the pay does get better, but it's usually not until year 5, 6 that you're in the game as a flight attendant where your checks are nice. And if they're not really fat by year 5, but you're making money prior to year 5, it's probably because you're picking up a lot of trips. You're doing a lot of high time trips. You're working a lot, picking up shifts on your days off and things like that. So it's definitely doable, but like, I don't want that. I don't want to have to pick up a bunch of trips every month and not really being able to enjoy my days off. And me knowing I'm not going to be doing this for 5+ years to see those nicer checks, it's just something that wasn't fun for me. The enjoyment of being a flight attendant, especially your first couple of years, I feel like a big part of that depends on how your life was before you're entering that new role. Like, if you have a good amount of savings put together, you're stable in a lot of areas, and I'll be transparent, I did not. That wasn't the case for me. So I was really struggling like those first 6-8 months of being a flight attendant, and I was struggling pretty much the whole time, but definitely a lot less as time went on. But in the beginning, it was rough because I was in training for almost 2 months with no real income coming in. I had bills and stuff to take care of, and so I was really struggling to get out of a hole when I started this job. And although I was flying to all these new places and having a ball, I was really stressed a lot of times trying to make ends meet, especially when I was based outside of Houston. Like, I was living in Houston before I started this job. My first place that I was living at was in Cleveland, Ohio. That was my first base. So I was paying rent here in Houston, and I was paying rent in Cleveland. I was paying on a car, no insurance, on a car that I wasn't even driving because it was here in Houston. And so after that, I went to Jersey, still paying on stuff here, and it just became overwhelming to where I really felt like I couldn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. And now that's my own personal experience, right? Because you may not have the same circumstances as me. You may be coming in with, you know, an ample amount of savings and not a lot of overhead costs, or you may be based in the city right out of training that you already live in. Like, it just depends. Like, this is my situation, what I personally went through that contributed to my decision to resign at this point. You know, things definitely got better financially after a while, but it still wasn't like my ideal way of living my life. And I want to be able to travel the way that I envision in my head, right? Like, going where I want to go, when I want to go, staying for how long I want to stay, and leaving when I want to leave, and having the funds to do what I want to do when I'm there. You feel me? And another thing is stability. And I feel like for me, it was rough because I was based in places I really didn't want to live for real. And then prior to me becoming a flight attendant, I moved around a lot. Like, I think before I was sent to Cleveland, I was on state number 6. So yeah, I moved around a lot. And then at that time I was a flight attendant, I thought it was cool. Like, yeah, no, me moving around, no big deal. I've been doing this for so long. Whatever, I got this. But to be honest, like, I started feeling like, no, I don't want to be bouncing around from state to state anymore. I want to settle down somewhere. I want to be stable. I want to be back in my own space. Like, when I was based in Cleveland, I was living with other people. I think it was like 5 of us in that house. And then when I moved to Jersey and I transferred there, I was living with one other person, and that was different for me. Like, I'm so used to living alone and having my own space and not having to live like out of my suitcase and all of that. Like, I just didn't really enjoy that part. And in the beginning it was cool, you know, I'm hitting the ground running, but then as time goes on, things are settling in and me realizing what I value. And when you are getting off of work and you want to go home, right, but your home is not feeling like home, it really hits different. And these are all things that you are kind of pretty much already aware of, and you think like, you know, I'll find my way through it. And for the most part you do, you go with the flow, you roll with it. But for me personally, it got to a point where I'm like, you know, I don't have to continue living my life like this, you know. But all that I'm thinking about, and not saying that it's not possible to do as a flight attendant, but like I've said so many times, I am Janelle first and then my job, you know, second. So I feel like the things that I desire are just for me specifically, right? But all things are doable. But like, do I want to worry about trying to figure all that out in the midst of that job? No. And then the last thing that I wrote down was one of the reasons why I wanted to resign is that I am meant to build a legacy, and I want to create something that is memorable. I want to be a boss. I want to be a boss, okay? I want to be calling my own shots, doing my own thing. With like building a legacy, now that I'm a licensed master social worker, there are some next things on my checklist that I need to accomplish. But my ultimate goal, and this was my goal, it's so crazy, it is so crazy now that I'm thinking about this. My original goal when I was in grad school was to become a licensed clinical social worker, open up my own practice, and provide therapeutic services to youth or young adults. And now I'm saying that that's what I want to do, and I still want to do it. So that's the plan. Like, I'm going to get my next license after this. I'll be eligible to do that in 2 years because I have to get all these other things to be eligible to take that next exam and really help people in that realm of things, because I'm a huge advocate and support of mental health services, connecting with people who encourage you and be a support for you during rough and difficult times in your life. I know, like, for me personally, I've had a lot of rough experiences and a lot of things related to my mental health, to where social services and mental health services definitely supported me in so many ways that I want to be able to give a piece of that back to whomever in the world that I may come across when I do become a licensed clinical social worker. So that's really like the biggest thing as to why I'm resigning, because there are so many professional and like personal goals that I have for myself that like I have to step away from this role in order to shine into my true light. And I'm just so excited, and it's just, I'm just so excited. Before I close out on this video, I really want to talk about how becoming a flight attendant like really changed my life and really gave me the confidence to know that I can do anything. Like, when I look back at my solo trips and I'm in Japan and South Africa by myself trying to navigate this city, and I'm trying new experiences all alone. Well, not all alone really, because God was watching over me and he was with me through that whole experience. But it's just so affirming for me, that little child in me, that little girl in me who years ago was so scared to step out of the box or believe that I could do the things that I have done at this point in my life. Is just beautiful to know, right? And so I'm so grateful for all the experiences that I have fostered through my year and almost a half of being a flight attendant, and the experiences I've had. I've learned so much about different cultures, getting outside of the box, pushing myself beyond my limits, and just learning more about myself. I feel like that's what it was all about, and that's all that it was ever about when I first signed up to do this job. And so I feel like I mastered it. And I'm not walking away wondering what if, or walking away with my cup half filled or with my cup empty. It is overflowing. It is overflowing, honey. And so it was very eye-opening. I definitely think it boosted my confidence so much in so many areas of my life. Connecting more with myself, I feel like it was just so much healing and time to myself and a lot of solitude that I felt like did me so good. So I'm so grateful for all that. And it also showed me that I can have this life and then some on my own terms. And what I mean by that is that I'm going into a job now where I'm going to be making the most amount of money I've ever made. And it's not, I'm not saying that in a boasting way, but it's just like, I want to be financially stable, right? And I want to be able to have flexibility in my schedule and the work schedule that I'm getting, honey. I'm only working 3 days out of the week. Okay, it's gonna be rough though, because I'm working 3 12-hour shifts back to back, but I'm gonna have 4 days off a week. 4 days off a week. I can take a short trip somewhere. I can, even when my PTO comes in, I can take a trip outside the country if I want to, and I could afford it, right? I could afford it. And I can do things more so on my own terms. And that is so freeing to know. Like, I really value and care about my freedom. And so I am grateful for that, because I feel like it's just going to be a catapult to the next stage of my life when I get my next license and I open up my own practice and I can work virtually. You know, if I decide, hey, I'm going to go to Greece for a month, I'll just pick up my laptop and I'll be in Greece, honey, for a month, working remote, being a digital nomad, and traveling the way that I want to travel, because that's something that I'm never going to stop doing. I'm going to be traveling the world still. You guys obviously won't be seeing flight attendant vlogs anymore, and I won't be traveling as often yet, but honey, it's coming. I'm claiming it. Like, I'm going to be traveling still. Like, if anything, this just showed me that I can do whatever I want to do, but on my own terms. With God's support and direction, he's going to make it happen. I know it. Anybody that's watching this video, aspiring flight attendant, or someone who is new at being a flight attendant and just started a couple months ago, or even someone who has been a flight attendant for a while and just enjoys watching my videos and still has a burning desire to continue on being a flight attendant, I encourage you to do it. It's a wonderful career if you can make it work for you. And everyone is looking for different things within the jobs that they have, and I feel like I'm definitely not knocking the profession at all. It did a lot for me, and I encourage anyone who is thinking about becoming a flight attendant to do it. Do it. If you have the opportunity to do it, do it, because it teaches you and shows you so much about the world and about yourself, and it's so many great things that you can get out of the experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm so grateful for it. I definitely always get super excited when I'm reading your comments, for those of you who are getting ready to go to training, or for those of you who are getting ready for their interview, or those of you who already received their CJL, when just hitting me up asking me questions. Feel free to continue to do that. I want to be able to assist and encourage and support you on your journeys, because I know how important that is to have someone rooting in your corner, and I definitely want to be able to help you guys in any way that I can. So don't think because I'm no longer an active flight attendant that I can't and won't support you on your journey, because I definitely will do that. Don't be afraid of change. Go after the things that you want to go after. Go after your heart's desires. Do what makes you happy. Make sacrifices, and even if it means that you may be uncomfortable for a little while, pain doesn't last always. You can wake up loving the life that you're living and living a life that you love. It's so important, and I feel like those are things that, you know, we aspire to have, and we think a lot of times it's impossible due to our circumstances, or due to lack of financial stability, or the lack of things. But with God, you have everything. And when we start shifting our mind to believing that and feeling that, even in the days that we're feeling very low, God will lift us up. And we keep on chucking and keep on chucking and keep believing, things will align. The universe will align the things that you desire in your heart. It will happen, and I know it because it has happened for me. I cannot tell you how long I was living in uncertainty and just not knowing a lot of things. But when you believe and trust and are obedient and you surrender, the life that you not only desire in here and dream about up here, you'll start seeing out there in front of you. And so I want that for you, and it can happen for you. And so I'm cheering for you, I'm rooting you on, and I can't wait to have us all living a joyous life. You can be victorious. And I'm walking away from this job being victorious. I learned so much, I grew so much, and I'm about to harvest so much more in my life. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited for me too. I'm done rambling, you guys. Okay, so as always, I'm sending you lots of love and light, and I'm just really looking forward to connecting with you guys more consistently again. It feels so good to be back on camera. I miss you all. I love you guys so much. Oh, and before I go, I know it's probably a few of you that's sitting there looking at the screen mad and sad and like, dang girl, why you gotta do us like that? Don't worry, you guys, don't worry. This is a period of evolution and growth, and I'm happy, so I want you to be happy for me too. But I understand that there's some people who just ain't gonna be there, and that's okay, because I'm gonna pray for you. All right, again, thanks for watching. Bye.